Welcome back, fellow nature enthusiasts, to another exciting episode of Wild Wonder. Today we're setting our sights on the enchanting African Jacanas, the delicate dancers of the wetlands. African Jacanas, also known as lily-trotters, inhabit shallow, vegetated wetlands, including marshes, swamps, and lake shores across sub-Saharan Africa. These striking birds boast vibrant plumage, with chestnut-colored bodies, black wings, and long, slender legs adorned with distinctive yellow or orange spurs. African Jacanas are well adapted to their aquatic environment, with long toes and flexible joints that distribute their weight and allow them to walk effortlessly on floating vegetation. African Jacanas are omnivorous, feeding on a varied diet of insects, small fish, crustaceans, seeds, and aquatic plants, which they glean from the water's surface or pluck from floating vegetation. African Jacanas exhibit a unique mating system where females are larger and more brightly colored than males. Females establish and defend territories, mate with multiple males, and leave the responsibility of incubating eggs and caring for chicks to the males. Male African Jacanas vigorously defend their territories from intruders, chasing away rival males and other birds that venture too close to their nesting sites. African Jacanas occasionally fall victim to brood parasitism by cuckoos, who lay their eggs in the jacana's nest, tricking the unsuspecting parents into raising their young alongside their own. African Jacanas are generally vocal birds, emitting a variety of calls, including alarm calls, contact calls, and territorial calls to communicate with conspecifics and deter potential threats. During courtship, male African Jacanas perform elaborate displays, including wing flicking, neck stretching, and vocalizations to attract females and establish mating bonds. Male African Jacanas take on the primary responsibility of incubating eggs and caring for chicks, building floating nests hidden among dense vegetation to protect their offspring from predators. Time for a quiz, nature lovers. What unique adaptation allows African Jacanas to walk effortlessly on floating vegetation? Is it A, long toes, B, webbed feet, or C, sharp claws? Take a guess. African Jacanas breed during the wet season when water levels are high and food resources are abundant, typically between the months of November and April. Female African Jacanas lay eggs that are cryptically colored to blend in with the surrounding vegetation, providing camouflage and protection from predators. African Jacanas construct nests using a variety of materials, including floating vegetation such as lily pads, reeds, and grasses woven together to form a secure platform. In addition to brood parasitism, African Jacana nests may also fall victim to egg predation by monitor lizards, snakes, and other opportunistic predators. African Jacanas employ a unique feeding strategy known as treading, where they use their long toes to push aside floating vegetation, exposing hidden prey items lurking beneath the surface. Female African Jacanas are larger and more brightly colored than males, exhibiting striking chestnut plumage, while males have duller, more subdued coloring. During courtship, male African Jacanas may offer food gifts to females as part of their elaborate mating displays, showcasing their ability to provide for potential mates and offspring. Male African Jacanas defend relatively small territories, ranging from 0.5 to 2 hectares, which they vigorously patrol and defend against intruders. African Jacanas may perform wing displays during territorial disputes or courtship, fluttering their wings to intimidate rivals or attract potential mates. The incubation period for African Jacana eggs lasts approximately 22 to 24 days, with males responsible for diligently tending to the nest and regulating egg temperature. African Jacana chicks are precocial, hatching with their eyes open and covered in downy feathers, allowing them to leave the nest and forage alongside their parents shortly after hatching. African Jacana chicks reach full independence within a few weeks of hatching, although they may continue to associate with their parents for protection and guidance. African Jacanas are capable of mimicking the calls of other bird species, which they may use to deter potential predators or communicate with conspecifics. African Jacanas have specialized adaptations to regulate their body temperature in hot, humid environments, including thin skin on their legs that allows for efficient heat dissipation. The wings of African Jacanas are relatively short and rounded, optimized for maneuvering through dense vegetation and making quick takeoffs and landings on water. Outside of the breeding season, African jacanas may gather in loose flocks, particularly in areas with abundant food resources where they forage together and engage in social interactions. African jacanas may hybridize with other jacana species where their ranges overlap, producing fertile offspring with intermediate characteristics. While some African jacana populations are sedentary, others may undertake seasonal migrations in response to changing environmental conditions, particularly in regions with pronounced dry and wet seasons. African jacanas employ various anti-predator strategies including alarm calls, distraction displays, and aggressive behaviors to deter potential threats and protect their nests and offspring. African jacanas hold cultural significance in some indigenous cultures across Africa, where they may be featured in folklore, art, and traditional ceremonies as symbols of grace, adaptability, and resilience. Answer to the quiz. The correct answer is A. Long toes. African jacanas have elongated toes and flexible joints that help them distribute their weight and walk gracefully on floating vegetation. As we conclude our journey into the captivating world of African jacanas, we've marveled at their delicate beauty, fascinating behaviors, and intricate social dynamics. Join us next time on Wild Wonder for more incredible encounters with the wonders of the natural world. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to our podcast for more wild discoveries. Until then, keep exploring with curiosity and appreciation for the extraordinary creatures that inhabit our planet.